1 second for you is not a lot. 1 second when you're executing transactions is a huge, humongous amount of time. The first person to come in and to buy out a lot of supply, to then sell to these guys, all the normies that have been waiting this whole time to buy the token. What's going on, guys? So today I want to talk about sniping, all the nuances, all the technical aspects of it, because I've seen so many videos on YouTube talking about here's how to snipe. Just go to Peppa Boost or go to Solana Trading Bot, put in the contract, click the button, snipe for 0.5 Sol, and there you go. You're gonna snipe, you're gonna come in before everybody, you're gonna be a millionaire. Just go and try it out. But the sector of sniping it has such a high entry point that almost most people watching this video are not going to be able to enter. I know I personally cannot enter because the amount of money being thrown there is so astronomical. It's millions and millions of dollars, and the people that are actually making real profits on it have banks, as I said, millions and millions of dollars, and you cannot come in there with your, $10,000 portfolio and start making money sniping. And I'll explain why. First of all, there's 3 simple things that you need for sniping. You need alpha information. So most snipers, if you don't have millions and millions of dollars, what you want to be doing is finding tokens, small time tokens. The team, collected a pre-sale of $500,000 because they have good marketing. They paid the KOLs to talk about it. They don't really have experience launching things, so there's going to be a token launching. You snipe it because they don't really know what they're doing. You kind of flip it, make your 2-3x, sell it to the normies, and you exit. Very good. This is kind of what happened with Hokta token. But if you don't have connections in the space, it's going to be harder to find these type of tokens. It's going to be, when you're in a group of people, 200 people actively looking for these type of tokens, it's much easier to work than when you're all alone. But anything is possible. Anyways, next thing you need is a professional tool for sniping that we're going to talk about later in this video. And the most important part of this all that everybody forgets to mention is you need specialized nodes. A node is a server that is connected to the blockchain and that, catches all the transactions that are being executed on the chain and that sends transactions that are being executed on the chain. If you're using a public tool such as free Telegram bot or maybe just a cheap sniping tool that hundreds and hundreds of people have access to, chances are you're going to be bottlenecked because there's going to be a line of people wanting to snipe with you. So most sniping tools, professional ones, are very niche, very expensive, and are accessible to 10, 20 people. So let's go over let's go over what sniping is really. So LP liquidity is being added to the token. The team just launched and they just added liquidity this block. What you want to do is you want to be the first person to come in and to buy out a lot of supply, to then sell to these guys, all the normies that have been waiting this whole time to buy the token. They're planning to buy it straight from here, but you already bought most of the supply. So it's like if there's a limited drop of shoes, 100 pairs are being sold and there's 300 people waiting in line to buy them, and then you have specialized tool that allows you to buy 80 pairs right off the bat. Who's gonna set the price for it now? You're gonna set, because there's only 20 pairs left here, but you have 80 pairs. So these guys that have all the 300 people waiting in line are gonna pay double, because that's what they have to do. So now basically you're selling the supply to them and not this guy. And this is the professional sniper. If you're not a professional sniper, the best you can expect is to be this guy right here. So LP is added, the professional sniper buys it up, then you buy up some, pretty much from him because he is already up. And then these guys start buying, but they will be first buying from him because he has a better price. He entered before you. So he's able to sell to these guys, and then maybe you're lucky and there's 3 guys left that are still waiting in line and they'll buy from you and you'll turn some profit. Less than the guy up here, but you'll still be profitable. But that's if there's anybody still left to buy, because this guy has, 50% of the supply. You bought like 5% of the supply at a higher price, and maybe there's no buy pressure left. It's already you're already underwater. So you want to be this guy, and to be this guy, you need millions and millions of dollars, and I'll explain why. So, first of all, to be a professional sniper, there's tools you need to buy. The most popular tool, the one I'm going to use as an example for this video, is, say, peppermints. So, as you may see, there's a supply of 200 NFTs, which gives you access to the sniping tool that, a lot of professional snipers use. Some of them have completely custom tech, but, just if you're pretty high up, you're going to be using something like this. The access to it is about 100 sol, about $25,000 that you need to pay just to access the tool. Next thing you need are nodes. So we can say, as an example, you can use these nodes. Very popular amongst the sniper community. There's only 74 of them available, so you have to buy an NFT to get access to it as well, which costs 120 Solana for that access. So overall, you're looking to pay about $50,000 just for the tag. So before you think that you can just go on Telegram and use a random bot to buy up someone's supply, when there's people investing $50,000 into the tag, they're gonna outsnipe you every single time. So how does the blockchain work? Blockchain is a decentralized ledger, and that ledger consists of servers, aka nodes, that write down all the transactions that are happening on the blockchain and send the transactions that have to be executed. Now there's two types of nodes. First one is just a normal node. Anybody can launch it. You can buy a server, you install the blockchain onto it, and it starts running. You can read the blockchain from it, you can send transactions, but you're quite far away from the real action that is happening. Action is transactions, LP being added, and so on. The second type of nodes are staked nodes. So that means that this node actually has some money in it that puts up its priority. When its priority is higher, it means it's closer to the action. Whenever something happens on the blockchain, the information is first relayed to stake nodes and then to these nodes. So the difference might just be a blink of an eye. 1 second later, this node is going to get information than this node. The problem is 1 second for you is not a lot. 1 second when you're executing transactions is a huge, humongous amount of time. This Solana runs at about 2.5 blocks per second. So every second you have, 2 full blocks happening. So by the time action has happened, this guy already knows LP has been added. It already sent a buy transaction into the next block that is going to be executed. By the time he has bought, you're only going to get information that the LP has been added, but he already bought in. So these specialized nodes cost a big amount of money because staking is expensive. If you want to, the minimum amount to actually have some weight in all of this, you need at least $2 million staked. The more you have staked, the higher your priority is, the more, chance of you getting the transaction information before everybody else. So you're being ahead. You don't actually need to stake your own money on a staked node. So the way it works is anybody can stake money on a node. The owner of the node does not have access to that money whatsoever. So, Carl from China, you ask him to, this guy has $100 million portfolio. You ask him, Carl, can you please stake $2 million on my node? You're going to get a percentage of the fees that my node generates. Carl can do that. He can withdraw his money at any time. He can add more at any time. He is in full control. So it is made for it to be easier to stake nodes. Another important thing about staked nodes is that you actually also have to pay fees. So whenever a block is executed, you have to pay some computational fee. It's a very, very small fee, maybe like 1 cent per block. But because there's 2.5 blocks per second, 100 per minute, 1,000 per hour, 10,000 per day, this 1 cent stacks up real fast. And at the end of the day, I believe right now, a staked node has to pay somewhere like 2 Solana per day just to run. So if your node is staked well and you execute a lot of blocks, you can offset the price of 2 Solana by generating fees. But if you only have like 2 million staked, most likely that's not going to be nowhere near enough to pay for a staked node. But staked node gives you access to faster transactions and a higher chance of your transaction going through, because the priority here is higher. Transaction of these guys will always be more prioritized in a block that has limited space than these guys right here. If the space is full, you'll just go into the next block. It's only, 1 second later, not a big deal. But if you're sniping, it's a huge deal. So as we have already spoken, you need about $50,000 just for the tech. These nodes have 74 nodes. They're all staked. If we go to the map of validators, so this is all the staked nodes, how much money they have staked. So for example, Helios here has 12.5 million Solana staked, which is, 12.5 million times 220. It's a big number. It's a big number. It's hundreds of millions. And then we, type in these. We have these node right here with 117,000 Solana staked. We have these node UK with 12,000 Solana staked. These node XYZ, 43,000 Solana staked. These node X, 100,000 Solana staked. So millions and millions are staked for all the snipers to be able to come in before these guys. Now, there's snipers in this node, there's snipers in this node, and this node, and they all want to be the first ones to snipe. So the next thing that comes is a priority fee. So when a block is being generated, the validator obviously wants to make as much money on fees as possible. So there might be a sniper that is paying 10 Solana as a fee just for his transaction to go through. There's one that pays, 50 Solana, and there's one that pays 100 Solana. The one that pays 100 Solana is gonna be the first one to snipe. Now, that is actually real figures. So people that have been sniping Pengu today, like this guy that has made $8 million profit, has literally bidded over 100 Solana just to pay the fee to come in first. Now, $25,000 might sound like a lot, but when you're trying to make a purchase for $5 million, $25,000 is nothing. He makes his 2x and he's up another 5 million. What is $25,000 in the grand scheme of things? Nothing. But if you're a sniper with a portfolio of $10,000, you will never, ever in your life outsnipe that guy. So yeah, that's a thing to consider. Another thing to consider is there's some luck involved. So nodes exist in all different parts of the world. Let's see if there's a map here. Maybe on the dashboard. Yeah, so they exist in Europe, Asia, USA, South America, and depending on which validator gets to validate the block when liquidity is added, the other validators closest to him in the region are gonna get that information faster. So if there's a sniper, if LP has been added and the validator that validated it is in Chicago, all these validators right here are gonna get this information faster because that's how internet works. He validated it, it has been sent, so these guys right here already know that it has been sent. And they can already prepare their transaction for the next block. The guy right here, somewhere in the middle of Asia, by the time the information comes across the world to him, you know, it's going to take a second. He's already way behind. So it doesn't matter if he has, you know, a huge priority fee, if he has the fastest tools, he's going to be behind these guys because they already knew something happened before he even finds out about it. So if you're sniping from here, that's not the best idea. You're going to be behind. What you want to do is either have two nodes, one in Europe, one in the USA, as that's where most nodes are. So, you know, with 90% of the chance, the node that is going to validate the liquidity being added is going to be either here or here. Or, you know, if you don't have as much money, you can just make a bet that it's going to be a European validator or the US validator. So, yeah, the guy pays 100 Solana to be able to buy 5 million to then be able to make 8 million. People with portfolios of $10,000, $50,000, $100,000 don't have nearly enough money to even try to fight him. You're always gonna be behind. You're always gonna be this guy right here. So before you want to get into sniping, you need to understand these nuances. You need to understand the level of competitiveness in it, because there's, you know, it's, as I said, people are investing millions of dollars to make millions of dollars. Don't get your dreams and hopes up. Grow your portfolio, you know, by investing into good projects. And, you know, once you have millions and millions of dollars is when you can look towards sniping. So this is it, and good luck with your journey.